Yo everybody, what's going on? This is Keegan from Kman Reviews. If you enjoyed this review, make sure you hit that like and the subscribe button, and if you have any opinions at all that you would like to share, make sure to leave them down in the comment section. Ice Cold Mood, Pink Balloons. Ice Cold Mood are a local punk rock band, one that I've actually been following since pretty early in their inception. I'm a massive fan of their debut single Trip, released back in 2020, and I was pretty eagerly anticipating a follow-up, but aside from a few one-off shows here and there, and some social media posts and a brief merch line, the band was pretty radio silent after their debut single. Until seemingly out of nowhere, just in the beginning week of this month, the band teased a debut EP, which I am here to review today, titled Pink Balloons. Really excited to dive into this EP since the debut song Trip isn't even on here at all. This is all fresh material we have never heard, so let's not waste any more time. Let's dive right in. What are my thoughts on Pink Balloons? Let's find out as I review it track by track. Since there were no singles prior to release, we will just start at the top of the tracklist, with that being the worst part, which opens up in a much more rock-centered direction. The shrill, siren-esque ambience of the guitar building up to a crushing, stampeding rhythm that has just the right amount of punch to perfectly fit as a pop-punk song. Speaking of pop-punk, the vocal melody for these verses is ripped straight from Damn It by Blink-182. I swear, I'm not sure if that was intentional, but aside from the vocal tone and energy of this song both being a little bit lower, they're pretty much identical. Despite that, the song does still hit pretty hard, and I love the segment right after where the drums just start crashing while the guitar really gets a chance to shine. And also the breakdown where the drums get isolated and just keep bashing. It is so satisfying. Also, bass work from Ronnie, chef's kiss. Truly amazing stuff. One gripe I do have with this song, though, is that I wish I could hear the vocals better. At least for me, a song can only go so far if I can't make out what the vocalist is even saying, and he gets shrouded pretty heavy by this mix a few times, but there's also a killer solo as well, so that kind of makes up for it at the end of the day. I will say, though, this is my least favorite track here, hands down. Garbage Song has a lot more of that shrill, youthful exuberance that I would expect from pop punk, and I think that's predominantly due to the vocalist change, where this one sounds like a pretty typical pop punk singer. The kind of snotty, nasally inflection in his voice, and plus the harmonies are amazing. It works well for the genre and instrumental for sure. Speaking of the instrumental, I also prefer this one to the worst part in that it has a bit more of a rapid punch, especially on the chorus, but the verses have this chugging guitar melody and some effortless drum work from John. I can really see why this one seems to be getting the most attention on the EP, at least that I could find. Lyrically, the song seems to be about trying to get through these tougher times in your life, dealing with low self-esteem, smoking, and alcohol, seeming like he's trying to get over someone, and stating on the chorus that he is trying, but he just needs a bit more time. Certainly not a garbage song if you ask me. Glitter changes up the pace on this EP a little bit, with this one feeling much more akin to a pop rock song. Not really having any blazing, fiery moments here unlike the first two. The guitar is pretty standard, a simple chugging riff, typical percussion, but there are also some nice guitar embellishments scattered throughout, especially when the instrumental strips back, letting it cry out to create a serene atmosphere. The vocal work here is also really nice, but the instrumental doesn't have the same youthful, punky attitude that Garbage Song contains, but at the same time, this is in a little bit of a different style, and I don't think those vocals would have been as suitable for the tone of the song. It's certainly not an EP highlight at all, but I do like it for what it is. Compromised almost feels like a rejuvenation, like a phoenix rising to deliver easily the hardest and most thrashing song in the band's career so far. The song feels very raw, in your face, and downright violent. The screaming vocals are easily the key factor to that essence, but the stabbing riff and pounding percussion add to that as well. Plus, the bass breakdown a little over halfway through is a perfect touch, presenting almost a sanctuary to the sheer face-melting intensity the rest of the song has been smothering in. I'm also extremely happy the song is much shorter, being the shortest on the EP at just over a minute and a half. It's a nice lightning quick dose of vehemence on the EP, and it's perfectly placed and transitions well into the closer. Great track. And finally, the closer, Mukduk, gives me like massive Weezer vibes, and it's all in the tone of this guitar, which is much more blue and melancholic than anything else on the EP. And the whole track almost feels like it could have fit on Pinkerton. The bass is just so smooth and easy on the ears, while the vocals have this dreary, heavier timbre to them that perfectly complements the instrumental. But then we get a bit of a sonic transmutation a little over halfway through. Everything gets silent and eerie for a bit, letting the bass and drum rhythm build back up, incorporating some squealing guitar distortions, along with adding in a nice little guitar lick as well, as the background becomes more and more calamitous with blaring, abrasive guitars, phenomenal drums, and what almost sounds like a full-blown screamo outro. It's a fantastic journey of a song, definitely a highlight, love this one. Overall, this EP was certainly not what I expected, and I'm kind of glad it wasn't. I love how this band took the time to experiment a little bit, and not just make every song a typical pop-punk jam. And admittedly, sure, not every single one worked out in my opinion, but for the vast majority of this EP, the eclecticism paid off. Some fun, catchy melodies, amazing energy as well, while also still exuding this kind of DIY, garagey feel that a lot of punk in the 90s seemed to have quite a bit of. A feeling you don't really hear too much anymore thanks to the onslaught of modern punk nowadays. I eagerly look forward to whatever Ice Cold Mood may put out next, and I'm feeling a pretty comfortable 8 out of 10 on this EP. Well guys, hope you enjoyed that review. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace!